The chill of the Oregon autumn air did little to cool the simmering frustration Naomi Vance felt as the old pickup truck's bumper kissed her own. This was the first quiet evening she'd had in weeks, a stark contrast to the high-stakes federal meetings she'd left behind in D.C. The soft jazz on her radio, a Miles Davis track, was meant to be a buffer between that world and the peaceful one she shared with her husband, Michael. She sighed, checking her mirror before putting the late-model Lexus sedan in park. The road was quiet, lined with tall Douglas firs shedding their needles onto the asphalt. It was just after dusk, the fading light giving the sky a deep, bruised purple hue. The cool, crisp air smelled of pine and damp earth. This was Clarity Bay, Oregon, an idyllic town, almost nostalgic, a place where people still waved to neighbors and, she'd heard, sometimes left their doors unlocked. It felt a world away from the ugliness that was about to unfold. Naomi stepped out calmly. She was dressed in a simple but impeccably tailored navy blue pantsuit, tired from her drive, her face clear of makeup. Her only goal was to get home and just be Naomi, not the director. She inspected the minimal damage, a scratched bumper. The driver of the rusty Ford pickup, a scruffy white man in his 50s wearing a faded flannel and a Loggers Co-op baseball cap, got out. Before Naomi could speak, Mr. Henderson said, "Look, we should just handle this, no need for fuss." Naomi, professional and firm, replied, "I'd prefer we call the police and exchange insurance information. It's a procedure." Henderson scoffed loudly. "Call the cops over a scratch? Come on." He dug into his jeans, pulled a crumpled $100 bill from his wallet, and shoved it toward her. "Here. This should cover your cheap ride. Next time, drive a better, colored lady." He intentionally threw the bill at her feet, got back in his truck, and sped off, his tires spitting gravel. Naomi stood still for a beat, the insult hanging in the cold air. She had a fleeting thought of Michael, hoping this wouldn't make her late for their dinner reservation at the Cove, their favorite local spot. She was unaware this collision was the first domino in a meticulously planned ordeal. She took a deep breath, picked up the bill, and dialed 911. She gave a calm, precise description of the vehicle and the driver, emphasizing that the driver had fled the scene. As Naomi waits by her car, the $100 bill crumpled in her fist, she sees the familiar flash of red and blue lights approaching in her rearview mirror. A small sense of relief mixes with a cold, sudden knot of apprehension. "All right, we have to pause it right here, at this critical moment. The police lights are approaching. Are you feeling what Naomi's feeling right now? That mix of relief, but also that cold, sinking feeling of dread? If you're still watching this and you are feeling that injustice, I need to know you're here. Comment the number 8 down below just so I know you're with us on this. This is what we do here on the Black King channel. We tell the powerful stories that need to be told. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you are not going to want to miss what happens when those doors open. Your support helps us continue to create great content that informs and inspires you. Now, let's get back to it. The cops are pulling up. The two officers who arrived didn't ask Naomi what happened. They looked right past her, their expressions hardening the moment they saw her, a black woman, standing next to the luxury sedan. The patrol car had pulled up just moments after Henderson's truck disappeared around the bend, reinforcing Naomi's nagging suspicion that this was coordinated. It was fully dark now, the road illuminated only by the rhythmic, disorienting flash of the police lights. They cast harsh red and blue shadows on the trees and pavement. The temperature had dropped significantly, and the flashing lights created a sense of emergency and isolation. The previous peace of the evening was completely shattered. The senior officer, whose name tag read Cole, moved stiffly, his thumbs hooked in his utility belt. He had the local law arrogance of a man who owned his patch. The younger one, Shaw, looked nervous, new, and pointedly avoided making eye contact with Naomi. "License and registration," Cole said. His voice was flat, devoid of the courtesy Naomi expected, even in a routine stop. She remained calm, though she was now guarded, recognizing the signs of procedural errors and deliberate aggression. "Officer, I'm the one who called," Naomi explained clearly. "A man in a pickup truck just hit me and fled. His name is..." Cole cut her off loudly. "I didn't ask for a story. I asked for your papers. Now." He snatched the documents from her outstretched hand. His eyes flicked from Naomi to her license plate, and a tiny, almost imperceptible smirk played on his lips. He wasn't responding to a 911 call. He was executing a plan. He looked at the registration, then back at the Lexus. "This is a really nice car." "Real nice," he said, drawing out the words. "Are you sure it's yours?" "It's registered in my name, as you can see," Naomi replied coolly. Cole scoffed and tossed her license and registration back at her, letting them flutter to the pavement near her feet. "I asked you a question. A car like this, you're not from around here, are you?" Naomi, refusing to bend down and retrieve her papers, met his gaze. "Officer, am I being detained, or are you going to investigate the hit and run?" This challenge made Cole step closer, invading her personal space. "You've got a real mouth on you, don't you? People like you come into our town thinking you own the place." He turned to the younger officer. "You know, Shaw, she fits the description of a suspect in those break-ins over on the north side. Maybe we should check the car." Shaw, clearly intimidated, just nodded nervously. Yeah, Cole. Good idea." Cole drew his heavy maglite flashlight, shining it directly in Naomi's eyes, blinding her. "Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to step aside. We're searching the vehicle for probable cause." "You have no probable cause," Naomi stated, her voice as cold and hard as the steel of the flashlight beam pointed at her face. The scene was tense, isolated, and claustrophobic, boxed in by the police car's flashing lights. Officer Cole kept the light on her, blinding her. "Probable cause is whatever I say it is." While he kept Naomi distracted by the fabricated claim that she fit the description, Officer Shaw nervously opened the passenger door to search. Cole's hand casually dipped into his own jacket pocket, his movements too practiced. He subtly signaled Shaw. A moment later, Shaw, who had been rummaging weakly, called out, "Cole, look at this." He pulled out a small, clear baggie containing a white powder. Cole's demeanor shifted to faux triumph. Well, what do we have here?" Naomi's eyes narrowed. She was no longer just a calm driver. She was in professional director mode, mentally recording every badge number, every procedural violation. "I've never seen that in my life," she said, her voice dangerously quiet. "You planted that." Enraged at being accused, Cole's hand flew to his holster. He drew his service weapon and pointed it directly at Naomi's chest. "Ma'am, put your hands on your head. Now, don't you move." Naomi slowly raised her hands, her eyes locked on his. The air crackled with pure hostility. Cole holstered his weapon, the immediate threat of the gun gone, but his rage peaked. He stepped forward and slapped Naomi hard across the face. The sound was sharp and ugly in the cold air. "You're accusing a police officer? That's resisting arrest." He violently yanked her hands behind her back, cuffing her so tightly the metal bit deep into her wrists. "You're done," he snarled. He shoved her, forcing her down to her knees on the cold, gritty asphalt. Cole, now on a dangerous power trip, pulled out his personal cell phone. "The folks back at the station are gonna love this." He opened an app. Naomi looked up, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, her eyes blazing. Cole hit go live, his voice booming for the camera, got another drug dealer off the streets of Clarity Bay. From her knees, Naomi stared directly into the phone's camera lens, her voice raspy but clear. "Officer Cole, badge number 341. You just ended your career." "Okay, I have to pause it right there. Can you believe what we just witnessed?" He planted evidence, held her at gunpoint, slapped her, and is now live-streaming her humiliation. If you are still watching this video, and your blood is boiling right now, please comment on the number 1 below, just to let me know you're still here bearing witness to this. And if you're new here, this is the kind of powerful story we tell on the Black King channel. I highly recommend you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this. You heard what she said. You're not going to want to miss the moment Officer Cole finds out exactly who he just arrested. Your support helps us continue to create great content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's get back to it. Those sirens are getting closer. A new set of sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer, much closer, and Officer Cole's triumphant smirk wavered for the first time. His phone was still live, streaming Naomi's calm, defiant warning to the entire department. which is precisely how the new arrival had found them. The scene was frozen. Cole filming, Shaw standing awkwardly, Naomi kneeling on the asphalt. The arriving vehicle, a police SUV, wasn't just routine backup. It was the one person Cole and his hidden boss Evans never ever wanted to see at this fabricated crime scene. Who called for backup? Cole snapped, his arrogance cracking, replaced by confusion. Turn off your sirens. The SUV screeched to a halt, pinning the scene in its blinding headlights. The door flew open, and Chief Michael Grant stormed out, his face pale with a fury Cole had never witnessed. Cole, what in God's name are you doing? Shut that camera off now. Cole was stunned, fumbling with his phone. Chief? Sir, we have a suspect, possession of narcotics. Michael shoved him aside, hard, sending him stumbling. He rushed to Naomi and began uncuffing her, his hands shaking with rage. Naomi, my God. Are you hurt? Cole's jaw dropped. Chief, you know her? Michael stood up, his voice trembling as he roared at Cole. She's my wife, you idiot. Officer Shaw dropped his flashlight in shock. As Michael helped Naomi to her feet, something heavy fell from her jacket pocket, which Cole had ripped open earlier. It hit the asphalt with a solid, metallic clink. The beam from Shaw's fallen flashlight illuminated it, a gold, eagle-crested federal badge. Cole and Shaw froze, staring at the badge as if it were a scorpion. Michael, still focused on Naomi's bleeding lip, hadn't seen it. Cole, trembling, picked up the badge. He read the inscription, his voice barely a whisper. Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation. He looked at Naomi, his face ashen, all the color draining away. Sir, she's the director of the FBI. Michael Grant took the badge from Cole's numb hand. He stared at it, then at his wife Naomi, as if seeing her for the first time. Naomi, what is this? The flashing red and blue lights were no longer a threat. They were a spotlight on the two most terrified men in Oregon, their careers evaporating on the damp asphalt. More official police cars, called by Michael, were now swarming the scene. The power dynamic had completely, devastatingly inverted. Michael Grant personally checked Officer Cole's handcuffs, his movements stiff with professional fury. Officer Cole, you are under arrest for assault on a civilian and a federal officer. Naomi, wrapping an EMT's emergency blanket around her shoulders, corrected him. Her voice was quiet, cold, and absolutely authoritative, cutting through the night air. Aggravated assault, kidnapping, fabrication of evidence, and multiple civil rights violations, Chief Grant. The formal use of his title sent a chill through everyone present, including Michael. As Officer Shaw was being led to a separate car, he broke down, weeping openly. It wasn't my idea. I swear, he sobbed to the arresting officer. Cole said we had to make the stop. It came from dispatch. It was an official tip. Later, at Clarity Bay General Hospital, Naomi sat on an examination table while a doctor stitched her split lip. She and Michael spoke in hushed, tense tones in the sterile room. A tip? Naomi said, testing the word. Michael, that driver Henderson, he knew what he was doing. This was a setup, start to finish. They were waiting for me. Michael's face was grim, his mind racing through the internal politics of his department. A setup? For you? Naomi looked at him, the sterile light making her eyes look impossibly tired. No. I was just the bait. They didn't know who I was. They just knew I was your wife. The realization hit them both simultaneously. The true target was Chief Michael Grant all along. The attack wasn't random racism. It was a targeted, internal conspiracy by someone inside Michael's own department trying to destroy him. Michael, back in his office hours later, pulled the dispatch logs. The anonymous tip about a stolen Lexus fitting Naomi's plate was logged manually, bypassing the 911 system. The authorization code belongs to one man, Deputy Chief Evans. It took Director Naomi Vance less than 72 hours, operating out of a temporarily commandeered office in the Clarity Bay Town Hall, to dismantle a conspiracy that Deputy Chief Evans had spent 2 years building. The full weight of the FBI descended on the small, corrupt town, operating with an efficiency that left the local network no time to react. Naomi brought in her own federal team, who operated independently of the local PD, securing dispatch logs, Evans's bank records, and Cole's phone records. Within a day, they found the encrypted messages between Cole and Evans detailing the plan. Officer Shaw, facing a wall of federal charges, gave a full, tearful confession in exchange for a plea deal. He detailed how Evans, bitter about being passed over for chief in favor of Michael Grant, had orchestrated the entire scandal. The plan was simple and vicious: frame Grant's wife for a felony drug charge. The resulting scandal would force Michael to resign, allowing Evans to take over the department. They had picked Naomi specifically because she was a black woman, assuming she'd be an easy target nobody would believe. Armed with the confession and the digital evidence, Naomi, flanked by Michael and two stone-faced FBI agents, walked into Deputy Chief Evans's office. Evans was on the phone laughing. He saw them, and his smile froze. He hung up. "Chief. Director." "Deputy Chief Evans." Naomi's voice was cold and flat. "You are under arrest for conspiracy, fabrication of evidence, and multiple federal civil rights violations." Evans didn't speak as he was led away in handcuffs. A local news report detailed the outcome. Evans and Cole received long federal prison sentences, matching the title's promise that they were jailed shortly afterwards. Shaw received probation for his testimony. The final scene took place back on their home porch. The autumn evening was quiet again. Michael looked at his wife, the woman who was both his partner and a powerful stranger. "You never told me you were the director." The main plot was resolved, but the personal story was left on a small, realistic cliffhanger. Naomi looks at Michael, the man she loves but also kept secrets from. "I kept it a secret to protect us. But now, I think we have a lot to discuss." Naomi Vance's harrowing night in Clarity Bay serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly prejudice can eclipse justice. The assumptions made on that dark road proved that we often risk blinding ourselves to the truth when we judge a person by their appearance rather than their character. True courage, it seems, is not about the authority a uniform holds, but the strength to see the humanity in others, regardless of what they look like or the car they drive. If this story of justice finding its way through the shadows touched your heart, perhaps consider sharing its lesson with those you care about.